You smell that, people? Smells like the users of Evolution. Hello, everybody. Welcome again tonight for another edition of Evolution. I am your host, as always, Bama Grad. Pleasure to be here again tonight as we now look ahead to week 6 of the season. Everybody did an awesome job getting their games in and stuff, which has been fabulous. And seeing that we're getting everything done, that's great. So we're doing an awesome job with the pace right now. I think all of us are doing well with the pace we're setting right now for the league, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. So, other than that, let's get right into the business at hand, as it is week 6, as we're already 6 weeks into this thing of the new season, which has been going well. And we're going to start from the bottom up. We're going to start with Indy Colts 79 as he took his ranking. He was looking to break in. He did, and I think he was actually already in the top 25 during the previous week. I'll look real quick, and I think he was already in the previous week. Yes, he was 23rd last week in the rankings, and he was looking to maybe move on up a little bit more this week as he took on Idaho and new user SD22. And it was a good game, low-scoring game, but the points were needed in this one as Indy Colts Wyoming team pulls it out 16-6. So good game there, and low-scoring affair. But what else can you say? And obviously that Wyoming defense has something going on right now. Indy Colts was 22nd in the poll going into this game, so maybe he'll move up, but just can't be sure right now. And the next opponent coming up will be for Wyoming will be the BYU Cougars. They are coming into the matchup with a winning record this season at 4-1. Last couple seasons they've not had great records going into games against users, but this time they have a winning record. So it'll be 4-1 versus 4-1. So it'll be interesting matchup. Next team on the slate, Oklahoma State Cowboys, Zickery, the Zick Master, the master of Zick. I think he's got some sort of zen, kind of like the Lakers, Phil Jackson does with that team, because the team is rolling right now. Right now, they were going into the game against Iowa State. Iowa State was coming into the matchup 3-1, and they lose this one 36-7 to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, just bigger bodies and more beef, has really made a difference on that team as Oklahoma State rolls at 36-7. Next matchup for Zickery will be the Colorado Buffaloes, who also come in the matchup 3-1. So 4-0 versus 3-1. And Zickery is also in the top 25. He is ranked 18th in the top 25 right now, so great job there. And in recruiting news, he had a 3-star athlete quarterback, and after much deliberation, he got him to commit to Oklahoma State. So great job, Zickery, in getting that kid to land in your school. Next up, RYTY32 and Kent State Golden Flashes. Tough beginning for him, starting out 0-3. Of course, this is a young team, and they were going up against Eastern Michigan, and they played a tough game, but pulled it out 27-19. Great job by RYTY32. Gets his first win as the Kent State man, and his team is now currently 1-3 and looking to make more noise. The next week they get Central Michigan, who comes in the matchup 3-1, and hopefully RYTY32 can kind of take this momentum and just move it to the next level, and maybe pull the upset of Central Michigan, and we'll see what happens from there. Next up on there, 7-24 in the Miami University Redhawks, as they battled against Ball State Cardinals, and it was a no contest as 7-24 rolled Ball State 37-16 in just an absolute thrashing of this thing. I have one question for you, Simi. What playbook are you using, my friend? Because you're obviously piling up major points. I was kind of curious. Yeah, you ran option last year with UNLV, so I was just kind of curious at what you're running with Miami University right now. My guess would be maybe a passing pro style attack, which was kind of similar to what they ran when Ben Roethlisberger was there. So just question if you want to chime in on the forum under this slot, you can. I was just curious. Other than that, he now will travel to Birmingham, Alabama to take on Indy Ballin and the UAB Blazers. And Semi 24's Miami team comes in 2-2, and we'll get into Indy Ballin in just a few minutes on his record. So moving on, Sox and Gators, UCF. The man just doesn't know how to lose. He's only lost once, and this is the third season. So, in case many of y'all don't know, especially for the new user, did 22, completely ran the table first year, won all the games. Last year took a ding against Colorado State in age 22, won it out the rest of the way, and now he's 3-0 coming into the game against UTEP, in which he bombed RWA 32's former team 52-21 as he just pasted the Miners in the ground. And UCF now is 4-0. They're 14th in the nation coming into this game. So I have a feeling they're going to move up even more with this one. Will we see a BCS buster get into a bowl game this year if the Sox and Gators continues this role? We'll have to see. Next up for Sox and Gators and UCF Knights, they go to Memphis to take on the Memphis Tigers. Memphis comes in the matchup 1-3, so things do not look good for Memphis dealing with Sox and Gators. Brilliant mind at calling plays for UCF. Also in recruiting news, he had a 4-star athlete on the table. Chatted with him a few times, trying to get that kid to come. Hey, come on over here. We win over here. I've only lost one game. But obviously it didn't work because he committed elsewhere. So a 4-star defensive player, a left end, commits elsewhere. So Sox and Gators, don't give up, my friend. You will get those boys in. Next up is Indy Ballin, UAB Blazers. And they had a very tough game as they were going up against the 1-2 Tulane Green Wave. And I think to a point maybe Indy was thinking, I will just shred this team in the ground. It didn't quite happen that way as the roles were reversed in this game. Tulane pulls it out 18-10 in a very tough loss for Indy Ballin. His team drops to 1-3 now. And next up for him is the dangerous Semi 24 and the Miami University, the other Miami U, and the Miami University Redhawks. So it'll be an interesting battle there. 1-3 versus 2-2 should be a hell of a matchup. Next up, Big Bear, San Diego State Aztecs, trying to get things turned around. And he went up against T2 and Rice. He lost that game 28-17. So obviously T2's really got McGuffey running hard for his team as they just continue to pile it on. So we'll have to see where it goes from there. But Big Bear drops to 1-3 on the year as the Aztecs really struggling right now. But hopefully Big Bear can get in those players' mind to say, hey, we can win the rest of the way out. Let's get a bowl game and let's do it here, people. Next up, T2, and he is currently 2-1 going in. He was currently 2-1 going in the matchup against San Diego State. He did pull it out 28-17. He goes to now 3-1 in his conference, and he has an off week this week, so hopefully he can nurse some injuries that needs to be there. And also in the recruiting front, he landed a 3-star offensive right tackle. So great job by T2, the commish, in getting that player to his school. Next up, Bob Jr. over at Kansas. A lot of heads were scratching after Bob Jr. left for left Louisiana Tech. Had a rough year the first year, turned it around last year, got to a bowl win, won that bowl game, and then all of a sudden he bolted for Kansas, and everybody was kind of like, thanks. But Bob Jr. done a heck of a job so far. He went up against a powerhouse team of Nebraska, and it was a classic game for the ages as he pulled out a 21-20 win over the Cornhuskers. Fabulous job by Bob Jr. He obviously called the right plays in this game to pull off the upset. Anytime you play Nebraska and you beat them, that to me is an upset. So great job by Bob Jr. Next up on the hill for him, he is currently 2-1 on the season. Next up on the hill is his rivals, the Kansas State Wildcats. So no doubt Bob Jr. will have his team ready for that rivalry game. These are two teams that absolutely despise each other, and hopefully Bob Jr. can relay that feelings onto his players against Kansas State. Kansas State comes to the matchup 1-3, so it'll be interesting how this game plays out. Remember, Bob, is if you lose, it's 365 days a year of hearing it from Kansas State. So win the damn game. But no pressure. No pressure. Moving on, we're going to SD22, one of our newer users. He, as I said before, has taken over Idaho, and they lost a tough one to Wyoming and Indy Colt 79, 16-6, as he drops to 2-2, respectable right now. This is a team that only won one game last year, but plays everybody tough. So obviously, SD22 did a good job in slowing down Wyoming in this game, holding them to only 16 points. So SD22 still we got a lot of work to do there, but I think he can do it. No recruiting news for him. And next up on the hill is winless New Mexico State Aggies. So we'll see how SD22 does with that game. H22 in Colorado State, and he played a thriller against TCU, pulled out the win 16-13. So great job there as TCU loses their first game of the year, and Colorado State escapes with a win 16-13. And now they will get Big Bear and San Diego State Aztecs. And it's 3-1 versus 1-3, another user battle. So it's going to be absolutely fabulous. As for me and my Hawaii Warriors, we were 2-2 coming in the matchup against San Jose State. They were coming in winless at 0-4, which is kind of a switch because by the time this game came along, the previous 2 years, they already had some wins under their belts. But this game started a little slow and not so great for me in the beginning, but I was able to get enough points to pull away from this team. I was up at one point 38-17. They got a garbage touchdown on me late in the game on my secondary defense as I was playing some subs to kind of get back up some experience and all that type of thing. And that made the final score 38-24 in favor of my Hawaii Warriors, as we are now 3-2 on the year and looking good as we're looking to win the WAC. Team right now for me to catch is Boise State. So we'll have to see what happens from there. And this week we take on Fresno State Bulldogs, our rivals. So this is going to also be a big game for me this week as I get the rivals. Again, I am currently 2-0 against Fresno State. They have never beat me. I shut them out the first year. They tacked on some touchdowns last year, but I still pulled away from them for another big win. So here we go, round 3, Fresno State, Hawaii. We absolutely despise each other, and it will show in this game. So we will see what happens. 3-2 versus 2-1. So other than that, that's the end of the show. Hope everybody has had a great week of games so far. Can't wait for the results for week 7 as the games continue to roll along here. We're doing great. Keep it up, gentlemen, and I will catch you later.